Scarpins Avenue.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sklar Brothers Country, the virus edition, aka the Panty Pods,
aka two guys, one couch,
aka one Salmon, Couchie, two fans of Fauci,
aka if we shave, this is quote our buddy Derek Lipkin, a Sklar is shorn.
Two Sklars are shorn. Guys, we are back. We're back in the swing of things. Definitely was not easy to re-enter. I'm just going to say that right away.
Yeah.
Yesterday felt a little shaky.
So you're saying that it's easier to be on vacation and just not work than it is to actually do work?
Newsflash, guys. It's easier to
Shocking.
lay around and not do anything. But we got to work. The world is happening. The world's reopening.
World's reopening. You got people yelling.
World's reopening against like every fiber and ounce of what we're. It's like, don't reopen. Certainly not in the areas that are hotspots. I love that, like, even in our Instagram of one of the postings of this clip, we got into a fight about like how bad Florida is. Like, I don't even want to argue on that side. Like, that's not, Florida is the epicenter of coronavirus for the world. For the world.
Yeah, there was a point at which Florida the other day had 15,000 new cases, and they were like third. If Florida was a country, like third in the world,
Right.
in terms of new cases, like as a nation. That's insane. You can't argue with us that we're wrong when we bring that up.
And yet,
And here we are, Disney World reopening.
yay. Right?
It's a magical place. What's their tagline?
It's the most magical place to get coronavirus on Earth.
On Earth, yeah.
Yeah. Again, not against. I would not. I'm not saying.
Yeah, we want to bring back if we're talking about Hotspot Island, which
put
we
Disney there.
Let's put a Disney World on Hotspot Island.
Let's call it Disney Universe.
Yeah.
All right.
There
Does
you
that
go.
sound good?
Get infected on a ride, you bring it back to the huts on the island, and then it just spreads like wildfire.
Maybe
Hotspot
your parents, your 39-year-old grandparents,
bring
can
it to everyone at the swim up bar later that day. Maybe that's how it spreads.
when they're
around.
leaving you and your 4-year-old brother to just fend for themselves. Again, we're cool with that.
But opening the actual Disney World,
That's basically giving people a place to obtain corona and then bring it back to whatever community they're in, because
or on whatever Southwest Airlines.
most people in Orlando don't go to Disneyland, Disney World.
It's not a local haunt.
No.
So you're coming from somewhere else and you're bringing it back to somewhere
You're
else.
hopping on a plane, bringing it to everybody on the
Southwest
plane.
Airlines. I'm sure there's lots of new Southwest Airlines Corona material. I want to find out who's writing the jokes for Southwest Airlines.
Who's the initial person that then it gets disseminated?
Because I
out
maybe
to?
have some ideas of
Okay,
people who
let's hear
might
it.
be it.
Who?
And may he rest in peace. I loved him. I bet Vic Henley wrote some comedy.
I bet he had some good ones. God, I
I'm
love him.
sure that may he rest in peace. I love that dude.
Well, that's just, again, this is.
You're on
don't-
Southwest Airlines. You're going to go back to where you are, but you're going to find out how small of a world it actually is.
Yep. Well, here's one way, dummies. Mommy, why does it look like Goofy's got shortness of breath? Because he does.
Yeah.
He's
Mommy, Tinkerbell looks too tired to fly.
Donald Duck's refusing to wear a mask on his bill.
And this is a guy who refuses to wear pants.
Yeah,
So you know, like it. There's no way the Disney experience is the same.
And there's no one at Disney World right now that it's open, that is wearing a mask. Like, the worst selling items in the Disney World gift shop are Mickey masks.
yeah, for sure.
Mickey Mouse ears. They're selling right now. You know what I mean? What'd you get at Disney World?
I got a Cinderella dress.
Mickey Mouse ears.
I got a hacking cough.
Shortness of breath.
I got severe nausea.
Several blood clots in my circulatory system.
Shakes. I got the shakes.
Fever.
High fever.
A Millennium Falcon nightlight.
So we got
a
pretty
lot.
much all the things you can get in Disney World. Opening now. Why now in
Again,
Florida?
where Florida is the epicenter of the world's coronavirus. It feels like the most Florida thing to do, right?
Yeah. Orlando is like a more spring breaky Wuhan.
That's what I would say.
That's how I would describe Orlando.
It would be like releasing 10 wild alligators in the park and hoping nobody gets hurt.
That's what it feels like.
Right?
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice. Maybe they'll just go into the.
Look, they're out there. They're around. And look, if some people get hurt, they get hurt.
Maybe.
Why should that stop us from having any fun?
They're bringing magic back home with them. That's what they're doing.
Everyone's got a huge problem about it.
Yeah. It's a chance to be back. Okay, so here's what summer saying right now. Says Diane Watkins says it's a chance to come back and be in the magic.
Well, tell us how many times she visits the park in a year.
She says she goes like 8 or 9 times a year.
That feels healthy.
Yeah.
This is a woman who probably doesn't have kids.
Right.
And she's still going 8 times a year.
Here's another great quote of hers.
That's like when as an adult you realize, oh, you could eat dessert for every meal if you wanted to. Like no one's around in your apartment telling you can't do that. But no one except type 2 diabetes.
Hot or not, mask or not, we're just happy to be here. That's not a mask or not.
Yeah.
Hot or not.
Hot or not, fine. But mask or not, you can't say or not if you're going to a crowded place.
I feel like everyone in here is in the same frame of mind. They all want to die.
They do.
Everybody's just so excited to be here. Hot or not, mask or not, Jay. I would add that everyone's excited to be on a ventilator in 4 weeks.
Ventilator or not.
Yeah, because there may not be any available.
ICU or not.
Lori Lavelle of Evansville, Indiana, also cheered the reopening. Cheered it.
She's so excited.
She gets it. Again, we have friends. Our friend Eva has a yearly pass
to Disney
down there, and she goes and she has a blast. But I spoke to her on the phone yesterday, and she said there is no way I'm going to. And I have a yearly.
Because she's a sane person.
I have a yearly pass, but there is no way I'm going until there's a vaccine.
You can love something. Mm-hmm. You can love it so much. You can be obsessed with it. You can border on a level that is unhealthy with something. And still know not to go right now.
Yes, Lori.
And still say this place should be closed until we figure this out.
Lori, we know that you wore Minnie Mouse ears under your veil at your wedding.
Yes.
We all get that, okay? But just don't get all goofy on us here.
Right?
She said, I miss coming here. It feels really good to be back. Think of how much you'll love being there after a vaccine. That's what I'm saying is found.
Absence makes the heart grow fond.
Even fonder.
I'm on a diet right now. There's some food that are out of my life.
You can't wait to get back to it.
Just a little bit. Taste. A little time is going to make that even sweeter.
She said, this is where I've made so many of my memories. It's kind of our second home. It's not your second home. Do you get charged for parking if you had a second home?
No.
No, you don't.
No.
You know what I mean? Listen, we have lots of adult friends who love Disney. Some of them don't have kids.
I like Disney. I go with my kids. I like it when they like it. I like when they get into a ride or something.
But under
Space Mountain is my favorite roller coaster in the world.
But under no circumstances does it feel like a second home. Do you have to pay $500 each time you and your family go to your second home?
No.
Are you overcharged for dinner? Chicken fingers at your second home?
God,
terrible chicken fingers?
I had literally, okay. I when I tell you right now, especially on a diet, it is impossible for me to hate a hamburger.
Yeah.
It is nearly impossible for me to say,
that hamburger was bad.
You can't screw up a hamburger. Like you literally cannot, it's like ice cream. Like you can't screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Except they screwed up my hamburger.
At Disneyland.
Too much bun, burnt around the edges of the burger. I'm like, there's hardly any meat in here. It was like a McDonald's sized burger on like an
oversized ciabatta bun.
It's not even ciabatta. It was just like the kind where the top kind of peels off and it's so much dough of the bun.
Right. And then
like
there was probably like
seed,
3 pounds of relish on it.
Lettuce, like so much wilted lettuce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've ruined a burger. How did you do that? And you charged me $15 for it.
She said, not being able to come here was hard. We get that, but you can totally wait. This is a global pandemic. Like
by the way, hard is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hard is something we all are living through right now. Hard is part of life. Maybe we haven't had enough hard as a people for a while, and this is our hard.
Meanwhile, in California, where coronavirus cases are also surging, Disneyland is still in a holding pattern after delaying its original July 27th reopening. So they're not reopening.
July 17th. It was
July 17th. They're not reopening.
So one is saying no. California's saying no. Florida, if that is in an indication of like where they are and what state they're in, literally and figuratively.
Disney, if you're going to open the park right now, at the worst possible time, in the worst possible place to do it, we say, you know what? You've been closed for a while. Hopefully, you've been productive in that downtime and have created rides to reflect what we're going through right now.
Everyone loves a new ride. When a new ride pops up at Disney, it's the talk of the town. It's the biggest deal.
You could be working on them during the pandemic.
And why not, we say, lean into the pandemic and come up with some pandemic-themed Disney rides.
We're going to get you started right here. The Fauci Flume.
I love it.
You're floating on a river of phlegm in a log that you once thought was safe.
Lots of ups and downs.
Yeah. At first, you're on it for a while. You think everything's
We're
fine.
getting
You
better.
know where you stand on the Fauci flume, and then boom, suddenly the bottom drops out.
And you're maybe even out of the log. You're just on your own.
Out of the log. You're on your own. There might be alligators out there.
You're in contaminated waters.
Every move you make, even though it goes against the logic of how this ride is supposed to work, you're getting criticized for
by the same ride operators that told you you're doing a good job.
Suddenly you're upside down at some points.
You had a choice to say no, but then
you start to question why you even came on the ride in the first place. Do I need this? Is really what you're asking?
Fauci flume.
Fauci flume. You've been on the flume for years under different ownership.
Yes.
And now you're
and
just
no
saying,
one ever questioned whether you were doing a good ride or not.
But then you went on the ride.
Personal Space Mountain.
All right.
Not a roller coaster.
Not a roller coaster. It's
you just dark room.
You go in and you
take off your mask
and you invade people's personal space to a point where it makes them uncomfortable. It's
terrifying.
It is a terrifying.
And it's in the dark and it's terrifying.
All right, you want to do this next one?
Buzz Lightyear's terrifying trip to urgent care.
Okay, this is more of like a
you get a laser
experience.
Right, you get a laser, you kind of cruise through, you see all the coughing kids, people who are like, I'm not going to the emergency room, and you see all these people around, you can laser them.
I mean, here's the tough part. Andy only has insurance for one of his toys.
Right.
So
Andy, the owner of the toys in Toy Story, has so you have to lobby and figure out
who gets the insurance.
And let's not forget that during Toy Story, there was that moment where Woody presses the thing and takes off his mask
just so he can breathe.
His shield. It's a face shield. It was protecting Buzz Lightyear.
It was better than a mask that you could put on.
And here we go.
Now he's got to breathe our crappy air.
No one asked for that. Who cares if let him think he's in space? Right now, you've disabled the one thing that was protecting Buzz Lightyear, and now he's got to go to urgent care, and you got to save him.
These are unbelievable rides, and they should all be developed by Disney World. If you're going to open right now, you might as well lean into it.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break. That's our first story. We're moving on. Next, we've got a radio DJ, I'm going to say she's a member of a morning zoo. I've never listened to the radio station up in New Hampshire, who gets a little uppity.
She got a little nuts.
She got a little nuts, and it cost her something. We'll get to that story right after the break. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I want to mention we have the YouTube page. Go to YouTube, look up Sklar Bro Country.
Just subscribe to it, tool around, look at the videos.
We have just the podcast videos. These podcasts that we're shooting are up there now, and some of the produced things that our social media folks have put together so beautifully. If you haven't checked that out, follow us. We're on Instagram at Sklar Brothers. And then want to mention that on August 15th, that's a Saturday night, we're going to be doing
live Dumb People
Town
through the Nowhere Comedy Club.
We'll tell you how to get tickets, but we want everyone to check that out. It's going to be a blast. Working on getting guests right now, but that should be really fun. All right, you ready?
Let's get into it.
So this is just a time right now where people are going to get fired. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing that's bringing out in people their worst qualities that their employers are seeing, and then they're going to get fired.
Right. But it is sort of that thing where
it's like the old.
We all know what can fire us. We all know what is the thing not to say. It's like right there in front of you.
So this is to me like the old Kids in the Hall sketch.
Yes.
When Kevin is looking at, he's like, "Don't put salt in my eye." He's looking at the salt. Don't put salt in my eye. Don't put salt in my eye. Put salt in my eye. And then he puts salt in his eye. He's like, "Oh my God,
my eye." That's
right.
The answer is right in front of us. We've seen it happen enough times that we should know as people, hey, even if we have that feeling, don't say anything.
Except in each of these instances, people see the salt and immediately throw it into their eye. In fact, they go shopping for the salt to throw in there. They're going shopping to find the salt that they're going to then throw in their eye.
Write down. And they write down a list ahead of time.
I need the salt to throw into my eye.
Let me get salt to put in my eye.
And we also need eggs.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
We always need eggs.
And I have to say this, we always need eggs. But I have to say this, it's fun to watch unfold, isn't it?
Well, if you know not to do it, and if we are so clear on it, I wonder if it is kind of like the kind of thing where like it's camouflaged to people who are blinded by their own idiocy. The rest of us, like, that's out in the open. You cannot do that.
I love how people think that to me, they must think that their shitty, narrow-held views are ones that everyone will be on board with.
So that is the question. Okay. That is the question. is it something where these people live in such an insulated bubble of an echo chamber of all reiterating all the things that they believe, and they're like, hey, that's fine? Or is it that they're like, I want to see how far I can push it?
It's like, I think it's like someone who walks into a party and picks up the cat, puts it in the microwave, and just turns it on for 5 seconds, and then turns around to someone to high five, and like everyone's like, "What are you doing?
Whoa, stop!"
Nobody was on board with what you just did, and that's
Right.
exactly where it goes. Now, we are more qualified to analyze what happened here to this morning radio host in New Hampshire than most people, because when we travel around and tour the country doing stand up, what do? So we fly in on a Thursday, sometimes on a Wednesday night if we have to.
Which, by the way,
Thursday
this
morning
feels
press.
like 100 years ago when we would do this.
So we fly in on a Thursday, and usually Friday morning, okay? Thursday midday or Friday morning, we're doing tons of press. We go around and do every morning radio show, sports talk radio, rock radio, just the talk radio. Sometimes we do political radio, and we do. And by the way, they're not all bad. Actually, some of them are amazing. Our friends in Phoenix, John Holmberg and Brady, those guys are incredible. There's that great political show, The Man and the Woman, that do up in San Francisco. I love that show.
Yep.
There's great radio in Portland, incredible in Portland.
And
Mike Chase, I mean, just great stuff. So
Philly has a great show.
Exactly.
Cleveland.
John Carney in St. Louis, Matt Jones and Drew Franklin in Lexington, all over the place. So I'm telling you, we know the good ones from the bad ones. That guy, the public radio guy on Navy Pier in Chicago, remember that one was so great. All right,
amazing.
Let's get to the story.
Okay.
Diana Ploss. All right, she plossed. Just got fired from a radio
More
gig.
like Diana Minus.
Yes, in New Hampshire. WSMN 1590. Issued the following statement: Diana Ploss is no longer associated or affiliated in any way with WSMN. When you have to put
Like
that
say,
statement
she's
out
not
there,
even borderline affiliate. We're stepping away from the history
or
of her here.
Bardis Russell Broadcasting LLC. They had to bring the LLC in it to be like, look, she's not even associated with the fake company that causes us to not have to pay as many taxes as we want.
Right.
They added, we at WSMN value freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and assembly. We will not tolerate discrimination, racism, or hatred.
There you go.
We continue. Okay, that's the statement they had to put out. We continue to present and offer on-air opportunities for discussion, education, and the exchange of opinions and ideas. Yeah. In this climate, no one's going to support what this woman is espousing. All right. A radio host in New Hampshire, Diana Ploss, here's what she did. Went on a vile racist tirade against a group of workers doing their job outside because they dared to speak Spanish.
That's a good hill to die
That's a
on.
great hill to die on. Way to take a stand on that, you dummy. Was that the Third Amendment? I guess like she was thinking that's it.
Right. There are no laws that say that you have to speak English in this country. at all
She's
times.
none. She said, "You're in America. You have to speak English." Like, remind us, oh morning DJ from New Hampshire, what the school us in the laws of this country, if you will. It's almost unbelievable. Diana Ploss saw the workers who were doing landscaping downtown in Nashua, and she just went nuts screaming, "It's America, speak English." And then here's the thing. She filmed herself doing it. This is her trying to get a virtual high five.
She gotcha'd herself.
She filmed herself doing it and posted it online thinking that everyone would be on her side.
Whoops.
You know that online goes everywhere. It goes out to everywhere, and it made its way to us here in California. I know you thought this was like a tiny thing. Or were you too busy brushing up on your American language laws to know that that's what was going on? The digital paper trail that you'd be leaving.
Jesus
Her
Christ.
ignorance, Jay, is breathtaking. She assumes that they are working for the state of New Hampshire, as if that would justify their comments. Who cares if they're working for the state or not? She's actually infringing on their rights, on their First Amendment rights to be able to speak and say that everything they want. But again, who am I to tell you, Diana Ploss, about American law?
No,
you're a member of the Funky Bunch or the Morning Zoo or the Morning Asylum or whatever it
dumb
is.
show you are. I don't even know if it's that because it's high number AM. I think
it's like like the firm or some
Right.
dumb stuff like that. For the record, there's no law in New Hampshire that was researched to say that prohibiting people from speaking another language.
That's right.
Obviously, we all know that.
No law
exists.
I didn't have to do any research, and I could have told you
in
that.
any state of the union that espouses that racism. Even the most racist states that we have don't have those laws.
Yes. Go down south. There are no laws that say
They
that.
correct her, these guys, by saying that they're in a private company, and then hopefully they called her like some name in Spanish.
Sure.
but she's not deterred hurling insults and making ridiculous demands.
Also, mind your own fucking business.
Yeah.
Like, don't get into their business.
Well, also, if they were to say to her, mind your own business, that would have been great.
Right. But that's what I'm saying to her right now. Like, how dare you? How dare you enter someone else's conversation?
So then an African-American man who happened to witness her tirade comes by and confronts her, and she barks back, quote, because he's a black man, he's going to protect the brown man from this white woman. Afterwards, she posted on her Facebook page saying, I'm not backing down with American flags on it. I think you got to post those with Confederate flags.
Yeah,
I
I don't think you get the American flag on that attitude.
Would have gotten more mileage. It's fun to watch her
She's
down.
not backing down.
It's fun to watch her
Hey,
down.
you know who's backing her down? Her old job.
Yeah.
They're backing you down. They're backing you down.
Yeah, your old job is going to take that voice away
Throw
from
some
you.
stars and bars up on that shit if you're going to go for it.
We've seen a lot of racist videos, but rarely is the person
Who's doing it filming themselves
and then putting it online, like creating their own digital paper trails. We said
the blind spot she has.
So here's
the
this
color blind spot she has.
Ploss reportedly quit her job in 2016 to campaign for Trump. No one asked her to, but she did anyway.
Well, she's not going to have to quit her job this time.
2020.
They quit for you. How about that? They quit your job for you.
Which, by the way, is a great way to say that she was shit canned.
Yeah. Now you have more time to work for Trump. Good.
Maybe she can knit him a mask that says, I won't back down on it.
And he won't wear it.
Yeah. He is wearing masks now.
Oh, is he wearing masks
100 days in, he's wearing masks.
Good.
There's a petition circulating to get her the axe from her radio station. She already got it.
Yeah,
but I would love to see how many names were on that petition. I would like, they said they're hoping that it was written in English and Spanish.
Or only in Spanish. I want to see people gather around her house.
She's gone, though. She's gone. It would be cool for people to protest outside her house and tell her if she wants to live in America, she needs to speak the language. The language of tolerance. Wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
You don't have a voice in New Hampshire.
Unless there's a conservative talk radio station, because she probably
landed the drive time slot with this little move. Who knows?
Which I just realized is probably the most derogatory way for a woman to refer to her private parts.
The drive time slot?
Yep. Okay.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
I apologize.
This woman is awful. And I'll tell you right now, there are a lot of people like her, and she is feeling emboldened. She definitely didn't think she was doing something wrong when she was doing it. Why? Because she filmed herself.
I feel like racism is like a glue trap for like rats and mice. They're gonna see it, and they're gonna want to go out on it. They're gonna be like, "This is fun. Look at how great and fun this is." And then they get stuck.
And then that's where you die. That's where you go to die.
So you get out, you get on the glue trap, you stay there, you can't eat, you can't move, and then somebody's got to come in, put you in a plastic bag, and throw you away. That's what's going to happen.
From your mouth to
Western exterminators' ears.
Yes,
All right, guys, that's the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Punch a water faucet, wash your hands. This is not a hoax. Wear a mask, please. Stay protected, stay connected.
Even though we got jokes, this is not a hoax.
That's right.
We'll see you tomorrow.
This is no hoax, lots of jokes. That's another way to call this show. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
La-ti-da, la-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da-da.